The rain hadn't let up for hours. Jacob Martinez, a 34-year-old single father, stood in the dimly lit ER lobby, his flannel shirt soaked and clinging to his skin. In his arms, his 8-year-old son Liam wheezed softly, cheeks flushed with fever. Every breath sounded like a struggle, like life itself was something Liam had to fight for. "Please," Jacob whispered to the front desk nurse. "He needs help." The nurse gave a tight, sympathetic nod and motioned for a wheelchair. "Take him to room 3. The on-call pediatrician will be in soon." Jacob tucked Liam into the hospital bed, brushing damp curls off his son's forehead. The beeping of machines, the smell of antiseptic, it was all too familiar. Liam had been a sickly child since birth. His lungs never fully developed, and his immune system was weak. Medical bills stacked up, jobs came and went. But Jacob never once thought about giving up. His son was his world. He paced the small room, running his hands through his soaked hair, silently praying. He had no idea that the next few minutes would change everything. The door opened with a soft creak. Jacob froze. Standing in the doorway was a tall woman in a white coat, mid-30s, her eyes widening with the same shock he felt in his chest. "Jacob," she said, voice trembling. "Jacob Martinez." He blinked. "Doctor." Rachel Carter. They stared at each other, time collapsing between them. Rachel was the woman he had once loved. Deeply, foolishly, the kind of love that came only once and never fully left. 15 years ago, they were high school sweethearts in a small Ohio town. But after graduation, she'd left for med school, and he stayed back to care for his dying mother. They promised to stay in touch. Life, of course, had other plans. She began, stepping forward. "Is this your son?" Jacob nodded, emotion thick in his throat. "Liam, he's not doing well." She didn't hesitate. Instantly, her demeanor shifted into calm precision as she examined the boy. "High fever, shallow breathing. Sounds like a respiratory infection. Will need tests. Roman 4 fluids. Possibly oxygen support." Jacob stepped back, heart pounding. Not just with fear for his son, but from the surreal wave of the past rushing into the room. Hours passed. Liam was moved to a pediatric observation unit. Rachel worked through the night, coordinating his treatment personally, rarely leaving his side. Her face, older but somehow softer, carried the quiet determination of someone who'd fought her own battles. When Jacob finally found the courage to speak, it was 3 a.m. They sat outside Liam's room, sipping hospital coffee. "You're incredible," he said quietly. "I always knew you would be, saving lives, being this." She smiled, tired but warm. "And you raised him alone." He nodded. "His mom left when he was 3 months old. Said she wasn't made for this life. I didn't have time to be bitter. He needed me." Rachel's eyes shimmered. "You've always had that kind of strength." He looked away, not trusting himself to speak. The moment felt too big, too fragile. The next morning, Liam opened his eyes and smiled at Rachel weakly. "You're pretty," he said, voice hoarse. Rachel laughed. "You're very charming for someone on oxygen." As days passed, Liam improved. Slowly but steadily, Rachel kept visiting, even after her shifts ended. She brought puzzles, books, a stuffed dinosaur. Jacob watched, amazed at how naturally she slipped into Liam's world. One evening, as they sat beside Liam's bed watching cartoons, Liam looked between the two of them and said, "Are you gonna marry her, Dad?" Jacob choked on his water, and Rachel burst into laughter. But neither of them said no. Weeks later, Jacob stood in the hospital parking lot, Liam grinning beside him with a balloon in hand. Rachel walked out with them, her coat slung over her arm. "You know," she said, "life's funny. It takes you far away only to bring you right back where you started." Jacob nodded. "Except this time, maybe we don't let go so easily." She smiled, slipping her hand into his. "Maybe this time we don't." And as the three of them walked into the late afternoon sun, it wasn't just Liam who was healing. It was all of them, moral. Sometimes life's toughest moments reveal the greatest miracles. Acts of kindness, love, and second chances have the power to not only heal wounds, but build new beginnings.